Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today we're gonna jump into the ProRevenge archives. The first story today comes to us from Judas697734. HOA yells at me for training guide dog and grilling, then loses position on the board. Let's jump right in. To start the story, some background you need to know about me. I volunteer to train and raise service dogs. My fiance says clearly I have a look that says I am weak and a pushover. I have constant encounters with Karens who are just not ready for my responses when they engage me. I have been in the military for 17 years when this happened, and I was responsible for managing over 130 service members. I am anything but a pushover. I work with civilians, so I have cultivated a polite exterior because I was counseled for looking unapproachable and scary to civilian counterparts. The story, as I said, I raise service animals, so I fall under the ADA when it comes to regulations on where and what I can do with my puppy. We'll call him O. O is an amazingly behaved black lab of 6 months. I have cultivated a level of trust and obedience where I can leave him in a sit with other dogs around. So long as I am in eyesight, he will stay. I have raised a few pups by then, and I would never have done that with them, but O is amazing, and I can't wait to get him back after his tour of duty, helping Mrs. C be independent. I meet the HOA Karen one Saturday. Me and my fiance and O were going to head on a road trip to visit my fiance's parents. In our preparation, the last on the list is always getting the kids to use the bathroom before a long trip. So we head out, O gets busy, and I grab a bag to clean it up. I put him in a sit-stay and hand the leash to my girl, and I start walking to the trash can. It's about 100 feet from where he went. I have clear line of sight to the dog, and he is sitting pretty and alert and watching me intently for a hand cue or a voice command. As I am walking, I hear a womanly screech. I don't quite make it out, but it sounds angry. I ignore it and keep walking to the dumpster, deposit my waste bag, and turn around to head back to my two favorite people. It is then I make eye contact with the HOA Karen. Karen from here on out. She is your typical Karen, not an inch over 5 foot, and has the same circumference. The short chopped hair that says, "I'm the manager now." She looks me in the eyes, and I finally listen to her shrill scream of, "Your dog must be on a leash and in your hand. My county state law says so. I will call the cops." Now, I don't do ignorant, and respect given is respect earned. I was willing to try and de-escalate. My fiance owns the condo and is super non-confrontational. So for her, I try to bring it back down to civil levels of discussion. In a polite but firm voice, I asked if she even looked over at the dog before she started yelling at me. She just bellows like a banshee again. I repeat, this back and forth happens 3 or 4 times, me calm, her escalating in pitch and volume. At this point, she hasn't given respect, so none is required to be given back. I break out my "you done effed up" NCO to junior voice. It is loud, firm, and clearly states I'm done with your BS, lady. I clearly tell her if she would have taken 2 seconds to look, she would see the dog is sitting on a leash in someone's hands. She stops bellowing at me, looks and turns a bit red in the face, then musters, "You could just say thank you," which I curtly reply, "STFU and get out of my face." She waddled quickly off, tail tucked, into her condo door. My next meeting with her was when I was grilling. The HOA states no charcoal grills and no smoking or barbecue. I was born in the north, but as a military brat moved to the south since I was 2. There is a difference between barbecuing and grilling. Barbecue is 12 plus hours with coals of hardwood or wood smoking. Grilling is cooking meat on a grill instead of the stove. The HOA put out a reminder, no barbecuing on the premises and no coals. So I was like, awesome, get a small propane grill. It's not barbecue, but it's better than nothing. So I was out grilling and I hear the banshee cry, all too familiar now. Again, she didn't come up to me and talk, she just started screaming. So I looked her right in the eye and with the same firm voice, "STFU and go away. If you say one more word, I'll be the one calling the cops for harassment by an HOA member." She sputtered something about no grilling or open flames, and I told her to F off, show me in writing, and by someone other than her. She waddled off, and then I was approached by the HOA president with the HOA bylaws and sat to read them, during which my fiance started a conversation with them about another issue we were having with them. She was in the middle of having the state's attorney office ask some questions about activities they were trying to force her into paying for. It wasn't going well for the HOA, and she took this opportunity to introduce herself. While she may be non-confrontational when it comes to small things, she will stand up for herself when it comes to it. Her introducing herself changed everyone's tone, and they became oh so polite. Karen tried to play the victim to her and say I was mean and could use some manners when engaging with people. I love my soon-to-be wife. She let her paint her tale how she was a victim. When she finished, she looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You know, I was the one holding the leash and I was standing right here when he was grilling, so no, you got the same respect you gave." She paled and faded to the back. That's when the president of the HOA stepped in and told me I can't have the grill and that I can be fined, and I needed to follow the rules of the HOA or the next time he'll be the one calling the cops. Well, Prez, roger that. It's my job to enforce regulations in the military. I spent hours reading instructions. Nothing pleases me more than when I can shove the black and white in a butthole's face at work to get my guys what they are owed, or to force them to do the job right. So you want me to follow the rules? Copy that, buddy. So I began my research. I found a few interesting things. 1. No HOA bylaw can be enforced if it is not in the state database. 2. This particular HOA's bylaws were last updated in 1994. It was now 2016. 3. They state they follow my county's fire code, which follows NFPA. 4. Finally, the gem, the exact latitude and longitude coordinates of the HOA's property lines. So I get a login for the state's database and print the HOA's bylaws. I print the NFPA, which states in a multi-family home, you can store propane tanks no bigger than 2.7 liters, but they can total no more than 5.4 liters cumulatively. I go to Lowe's, get a rope, tape measurer, and stakes. I pull up Google Maps and mark the HOA boundary line on it. Lo and behold, what do I find? A drainage ditch that is city property not 10 feet from where I was grilling. So I take my coordinates, my stakes, and go carefully mark off the section of city property. Now for the revenge. I call the city and county fire departments and request a permit to grill on said city property. They said go for it. I didn't need a permit for it. No one would care. I insisted and they said it's my $50. They issued an event open flame. So with both permits, it was $100, but I got permission from the city to grill there for 6 months. On the next day at 0700, I went to set up. I carefully measured so I was at least 3 feet into the city property, set up my cooler with enough meat and beer to grill till doomsday, then waited for the fireworks. It didn't take long for Karen to come screaming at me. I mean, I was 10 feet from the community pool and 3 feet from the sidewalk gazebo that led to the pool. I just hit record on my phone and politely told her she has no need to yell and I am breaking no laws. She kept screaming about no grilling and how she is tired of me and she is going to get me arrested and kicked out if it's the last thing she does. She hasn't liked me since she saw me and has just been waiting to get me kicked out. That now she knows which condo is mine, it is just a matter of time till she finds something. On and on. I guess being polite and showing zero fear was pissing her off. She tried to come take my stuff. Big no-no. As she reached for my cooler, I broke out my NCO voice and told her if she so much as brushes a finger against my property, I would remove the offending body part with force if necessary. This sent her scurrying off again. About 20 minutes later, I see 2 cop cars pull up and Mr. HOA president himself. He is all chummy with the cops, and as they approach, I hear him say, "Yep, same guy. I already told him once before he can't grill on the HOA grounds." He comes to a stop about 10 feet from me. One cop stays with him, the other keeps walking up to me. I have a crap-eating grin on my face. I can hardly wait for the conversation to happen. The cop is slightly off-put by my joyous face and slight giggle when I ask what seems to be the problem, officer. I get informed that I am in violation of the bylaws and have been warned once already, and I am going to receive a ticket for disturbing the peace for threatening the HOA when they were trying to enforce the rules, ticket for an illegal open flame, ticket for illegal storage of flammable substances, on and on. The last was, if I didn't pack it up, I would be arrested and removed. Now that he was done, I first handed him my permit from the city to grill. He took it, walked back to the president, and they discussed it for a moment, then returned. Says, you can't get a permit from the city to grill on private property. I then showed him the coordinates for the HOA and the Google Maps gridded drawing and my current GPS location. Mind you, I am smiling, handing sheet after sheet to him because the grid was not all on one sheet and had addendums. It took about 4 minutes to explain it to him. As I was about to hand him more, he held up a hand to stop me. He then asks how long I had planned this with a smirk. I told him, oh, about a week. He gave me a look of disbelief but moved on. He then asks me if I threatened Karen. I just played back the recording to him. At the end, he says, nothing seems out of place here, you are free to go. I stopped him and asked if I could file a complaint for HOA harassment through him. He said no, that the city clerk's office is the correct place, but he would document harassment by the two of them and file the report for me. In my state, it's illegal to be harassed by the HOA. It comes with a jail term of a few months, fines as high as $5,000, and immediate removal from the board, and the possibility of recovery of damages. I settled for them both being removed from the board instead of filing a complaint. I waved to Karen every day I grill, or showed her my leash if I had There are a plethora of HOA stories across Reddit, and if there's one thing I've learned from them, it's that I'm never buying a house in an area that has an HOA. Screw that. I think the only thing that would have made this better would have been if OP offered the police officers something from the grill once everything was settled. That would have been epic. Do me a quick favor, have a look down below the video. If that subscribe button's still red, it means you're not actually subscribed to the KCC channel. Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. Our second story today comes to us from Thrownaway147963. Enjoy your beach vacation, Shrek. Let's jump right in. Disclaimer, I created an alt to post this. The very specific nature of the revenge would certainly lead anyone who knows about it right to my primary account. And there's some stuff in my primary's post history that I want to keep private. In 2017, I took a new job on the other side of my fairly large city. Rather than commute from where I was living now and spend at least 90 minutes driving each way, I decided to move closer to my new job. I could have gotten a one-bedroom apartment on my own, but my budget at the time would only barely manage it. I'm a single guy in my 20s and I like to go out and order in. Sure, I could have had my own place, but I would have been eating ramen and staying in most of the time. So I leased a 2-bedroom in March 2017 and started advertising for a roommate. A great guy named Dave got in touch, we seemed to click and he moved in. I have a pickup truck, so I helped him go get furniture and he helped me move my crap to the new place. We got along great. We were alike enough that we had common interests, but different enough that we would have great discussions. Things were fine. We would split the cost of stuff like toilet paper and dish soap. Neither of us were total slobs, but we weren't fussy little bees that would complain about a dirty glass left in the sink overnight. In the meantime, my job was going great. Within 6 months, I got a promotion and a very hefty raise. Dave told me he was leaving as of November 1st, 2017. I probably should have just covered the apartment myself until the end of the lease, February 28th, 2018, but I made a mistake. Let's call the mistake Bro, since that's what he called everyone else. Bro was Dave's weed connect. He had been to the apartment a few times and needed a place to stay. He seemed like he had his crap together, was charismatic and well-groomed, so Dave moved out and Bro moved in at the top of November. Trouble started pretty soon afterward. He was vain AF, always with neatly trimmed blonde hair, nice clothes, and $500 sneakers. That's where all his money went. He didn't buy food or anything else. I would buy a loaf of bread and the next day there was a quarter of a loaf left. I would go to take a dump and there was no paper. I used to leave a big jar of peanut butter in the cupboard. It evaporated. I would give him crap and tell him to buy his own stuff. Yeah, bro, no problem. but nothing changed. He didn't even have a cell phone. Well, he did, but he never used it. He couldn't get a plan because of an unpaid account, so he had a pay-as-you-go plan and relied on WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger to keep in contact with people, like his weed customers. How much do you think he contributed to the internet bill? Rent was usually late and never in one chunk, and he was a complete slob, never did dishes or wiped anything down. I don't think he even knew how to spell mop. I was getting more and more pissed off, and finally we had a big argument just before Christmas 2017. I basically told him, flat out, that if he didn't stop using my stuff and start pulling his own weight, then, and I quote, "crap's gonna happen and you won't like it." The final straw. I made a bunch of cookies and stuff to take with me to visit my family for Christmas. I told him specifically not to touch the stuff in the fridge, and he devoured about 1/3 of it. F you, bro. And now I am effing angry and I am coming for you. Bro was excited to be going to Costa Rica for a week in February. One of his friend's parents had a condo there, and bro and 3 friends were planning a trip to stay there for a week. Since their accommodations were free, they could party it up, and I overheard their plans for booze, cheap coke, and legal ladies of the evening. I spent a lot of time in my room when bro and his friends were over playing video games. I have a good headset, so they must have assumed I was playing away rather than listening through the paper-thin walls. One of the things they were planning to do was suitcase some coke back home. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's putting something up your butt to smuggle it. Coke is cheap in Costa Rica, about 10% of what it costs here and much stronger. They were planning to bring a smallish amount, a few grams each, then dilute it when they got back and sell it for enough to cover the trip. Well, it comes time for the trip and time to pull the trigger on my revenge. Here we go. Bro and his buddies were leaving on a Saturday morning. I told bro that I was going to be out of town, so he would have to arrange for his own ride to the airport, but that I would pick him up. He gave me his flight number for his return flight. I had a few Cokes in the fridge and a chocolate cake that I had taken a few slices from. In the cupboard was a bag of Doritos and some Oreos. I told him again not to touch my crap. Bro was out of the house on Friday, so before I left, I took every cleaning product in the place in a bag. Every soap, dish soap, vinegar, cleanser, everything, all of it. Did I mention that bro would use my stuff? This included my shampoo and body wash. I use a product called Irish Spring Body Wash, which is a gel that's bright emerald green. So before I left, I stirred 2 containers of green food coloring into the bottle and put it back into the shower. Did I mention that bro had a pale complexion? Then I got into the admin of the router and filtered the MAC addresses down to my PS3, phone, and desktop, effectively locking him out of the internet. Saturday morning, my phone started blowing up. I guess bro went for a shower before leaving for the airport and got more than he thought when he used my Irish Spring as usual. I wish I could have seen it. He lost his crap, calling me every name in the book and threatening to kick my butt when he returned. But there's more. On Sunday when I got back home, the apartment was a disaster. Clearly he had people over and they had drank all my Cokes and eaten my munchies. That's when I finally replied to him on WhatsApp. He called me almost immediately and started ranting and screaming into the phone, freaking out that he's effing green and it won't wash out. No beach, no pool, calling me an effing butthole. How can I do this to him, etc. I just told him that I had said that if he keeps using my crap, something would happen that he didn't like, and he wouldn't be in this mess if he wasn't an effing thief. Then, I told him that he should actually be grateful and to thank me. Thank you? Thank you for what, you see? Thank me for not loading the cake with laxatives like I had planned to. On Tuesday, I messaged him, "Bro, the cops were here looking for you." "What? What for?" "Don't know, bro. They just wanted to know where you were." "What did you tell them?" "That you were in Costa Rica, but that you were flying back on Sunday afternoon." There were no cops, but he didn't know that. All he knows is that there was a possibility that they might be waiting for him on arrival, and that if he was discovered smuggling coke, he would be in big trouble. So there went his suitcasing plans, and there went his plans to pay for his trip. On Friday, I told him that I wouldn't be able to pick him up at the airport, but not why. I had given my notice and surrendered the apartment. All week I packed up my stuff, all of it. I actually owned the furniture in Bro's room, but I didn't want it, so I went into his room, dumped his crap on the floor, and dragged it down to the dumpster. I slashed the mattress and kicked the dresser and bedside table to matchsticks, couch and chairs too. Then I emptied the place. Every cup, plate, knife, fork, all of it was either trashed or moved. I did leave one small pot, but I drilled a hole in the bottom just to make my point. I took the shower head, I took the shower curtain, I took the shower curtain rings, I emptied the place. I heard later from Dave, who knew one of the guys that went to Costa Rica with Bro, that Bro had showed up with very little money, and what little he had was soon gone. He was mooching off the others, and it didn't take long for them to tire of Bro. Whatever fury they may have felt by the greening of Bro was soon diffused once they caught wind of his true nature. I don't know how he got back from the airport, but on Sunday, he called me freaking out about the apartment. "Where's my bed, man? Where's my furniture?" "What furniture? All that stuff was mine, and I didn't want it anymore." "What the F, man? What did I ever do to you? Aside from steal my stuff, not pull your weight, and screw me over for rent and bills, you mean? Now I have to sleep on the floor? F you, butthole. No, F you, bro. Just to let you know, I did you a favor. Now you have less crap to move. Better get started looking for a new place to live, because the management of the building is changing the locks on Wednesday morning." Then I blocked Bro. Never heard from him again, but Dave told me he couch surfed for a few weeks, then disappeared. Probably moved out of town. Who knows? Good riddance. Gotta be honest, I think OP actually went really easy on this guy. I mean, he could have called the authorities and got them to meet him at the airport, and well, that suitcase of yours, buddy, yeah, it wouldn't be safe. They'd find it. Then you get to sit in a little room with a whole bunch of eyes on you, waiting until it naturally comes out. Lots of fun. Don't ask me how I know this though. Check out both OPs at the links in the description down below. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.